walking you through all of the country's top stories at this hour. Our first story, we're taking you to the situation we've been covering through the day today. The continuing high temperature in Sandeshkhali in West Bengal. Now the breaking news, we'll bring you this first, then we'll bring you the background context. The breaking news coming in is that the Calcutta High Court has announced a staying of Section 144 that was previously in the area. Section 144, remember, prohibits the gathering of more than 4 people. Now, Section 144 is being called off, and number 2, Subhendu Adhikari, the BJP leader, will now be allowed to travel. We'll be bringing you more context on all of these developments in just a second. My colleague, our legal correspondent, Ananya Bhatnagar, joins us. Ananya, just before we come over to you, let me just tell our audiences very quickly that Sandeshkhali has over the last few weeks been witnessing locals coming out in protest. Locals have been seeing that TMC leaders have been indulging in land grabbing and exploitation of the people there, the villagers there. Now the TMC has said that these charges are largely politically motivated, though investigations into these charges have been announced. Okay, Ananya, with that context, now tell us what the Calcutta High Court has had to say in this order.
Well, definitely, the Supreme Court, while dealing with these particular cases, has very, very clearly and categorically asked the petitioner who had knocked the doors off, in fact, the Supreme Court, that, he should not actually, compare this situation of Sandeshkali with that in Manipur. And, in fact, asked the petitioner to actually approach the Calcutta High Court, because the Calcutta High Court had already taken a suo motu cognizance in this particular matter. And this particular observation with regards to, that this is not the same with Manipur as Manipur is something that has come in as a shot in the arm for the TMC, who is now peddling this narrative that these were petitions that were filed with a political motive. However, now Alakh Srivastava, who is the petitioner in this particular case, will now knock the doors of the Calcutta High Court. What will the Calcutta High Court do is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. And already the Calcutta High Court has taken a suo motu cognizance. So how things actually pan out, whether there would be a CBI investigation or not, whether there would be an independent probe in this particular case or not, is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. But definitely, this observation of the topmost of the country that the situation in Sandeshkali is not the same as in Manipur is something that has come in as a shot in the arm for the Trinamool Congress.
Okay, that's our legal correspondent Ananya Bhatnagar. Now to take you to the picture on the ground, our colleague Kamalika, who's been reporting to us live from the ground through the day today. About the experiences they had over the last decade or so. Now, Kamalika, as we speak, the National Commission for Women is on the ground. They say that they are interviewing women who they say may have gone through certain experiences at the hands of the TMC leadership. Kamalika, can you tell us more about that? Can you also tell us more about the implications of the Calcutta High Court, which has now allowed Subhendu Adhikari, a firebrand BJP leader, onto the ground, though they've said that he can't make any provocative speech of any kind? Bring us the context, please.
See, this is the third time that Subhendu Adhikari will be now again he'll try to go to Sandeshkhali. Now what happened that first 2 times he was not allowed, he has approached the court, and today the court has given a direction that he, for the timing, for coming 7 days, 144, they have given an interim stay on 144 in Sandeshkhali. And and the court has stated that Subhendu Adhikari can go to Sandeshkhali, but he has to inform the police 3 hours from now. That is one thing, and also the police have to provide him huge security, and he has been also told not to give any provocative or instigating any speech out there. Now is the real task what the administration is going to do. What we are getting it from our sources in administration, that they will be reading the judgment that has been given by Calcutta High Court today, and then they will take a decision, because till now they feel that they have not allowed any political party inside Sandeshkhali that might instigate situation out there. It might be violent. So they are definitely not in a mood to allow Subhendu Adhikari, needless to say. Now, Subhendu Adhikari has already declared that from 9 a.m. in the morning he'll start and he'll go to Sandeshkhali with some of his MLAs. So really tomorrow is again going to be a showdown day. There is a court order. Subhendu Adhikari is allowed there or not, that is to be seen. On the second hand, as far as NCW team chief is concerned, she has been traveling to various localities of Sandeshkhali. She has been talking to people out there, women out there. What we are coming to know that she has made herself, filed various complaints there. Almost now the complaint number, as what she claims, is 18. She said that she has made 18 complaints, 11 complaints were there, more 7 to 8 complaints. She has herself, she has initiated all those complaints. She has asked the ladies to not to fear and come out and complain. So that is another thing. But she has made a very important remark stating that there should be president's rule. This is the second time we know that the SC/ST Commission also demanded a president's rule. NCW chief is also saying about a president's rule. Now she is on his way. She will be meeting the governor today, and tomorrow she is expected to meet the top officials of the administration. But whether chief secretary gives her time, that is to be seen. Whether DG gives her time, that is to be seen.
Okay, Kamalika, I just want to ask you, you're on the ground. Over the last few days, today, are you at all observing a change in the mood? Because you've talked about the sense of fear that was present among villagers, the fear to speak out. Now that there are so many investigations taking place simultaneously, are you sensing a change at all?
Yeah, definitely. The change is there. The women, they have given a written complaint to NCW chief, and we have sent ground reports from Sandeshkali that how women are now saying that they are coming out, they are complaining. It's not only the sexual harassment, it's also the land grabbing complaints. Like there is now a land camp there where the BDO is sitting there, and now the people out there. We have met one person who had who has given 3 bigha Zameen to Shiva Prasad Hajra, and she has not got money. She is a widow. She has now today written a letter, and she was on her way to go for that land camp. She was on her way to submit her complaint. Not only that, as NCW chief Nekha Sharma speaks to the women out there, the women are saying that they believe that they have got a confidence that something will happen and they'll get justice. That's what they're saying. But still, somewhere there, the fear is there. It's not gone. But definitely, I've been traveling Sandeshkali for the last 7 to 8 days. Today, it was a little upbeat mood was there amidst the women out there.
Okay, Kamalika, I'll ask you to stay with us. We'll come back to you with more questions on this. Let's just play out for our audiences a ground report you brought us where you interacted with locals from just a little more than an hour ago. Take a look.
So, women of Sandeshkhali, today the NCW chief has come. Women of Sandeshkhali, they are happy that the chief has come and they have spoken to her. We will talk to her. এই যে এসছে NCW দিদি, এটাতে কি আপনাদের কিছু ভালো হবে মনে হচ্ছে?
মা আশা করি ভালো হবে।
কথা বলেছেন এনার সঙ্গে?
হ্যাঁ, উনি তো হিন্দিতে বলছে, আমরা হিন্দিটা ভালো বলতে পারি না। আমরা বাংলায় বলেছি ওনাদের, সেটা
ওই তো আমাদের এখানে যেগুলো হচ্ছে, আমাদের উপরে নির্যাতন হচ্ছে সেইগুলো বললাম। পুরুষদের উপরে কিভাবে হচ্ছে নির্যাতন হচ্ছে, রাতের পর রাত নিয়ে গিয়ে কিভাবে ওদেরকে উপরে টর্চার করা হচ্ছে, মারধর করা হচ্ছে।
They are saying that there is confidence that NCW chief has come, and they are saying that they have actually given a written list to them, written application to them, to her, where they have stated that what are the problems they have faced, and now they feel that they have little bit of they feel a little better than what the situation was. Here are all the Sandeshkhali, some of the women, they are sitting, they are seeing that the NCW chief has spoken to them, and they feel that little bit of confidence has come to them. They have given written names and written problems to NCW chief, but some of them are also saying that they are outsiders. That's what they are coming to know from other people, which is not right. But they are now confident. Like we spoke to one of the women who said that still we are afraid. We are afraid that there might be intimidation at night. So totally the fear has gone. It's not that, but that confidence is there that the situation, what it was, it's better than that because the NCW chief and all the other people are coming and talking to them. Now different camp offices have started where the land officers are there, because land grabbing is also a very important issue in Sandeshkhali. And we have with us one woman who is a widow, and this is the paper. She has now got confidence. She has written her complaint that she had 2 bigha zameen which was taken in lease by Sharif-Bhutto-Zardari. First year she was given money and then she was not given, so she has now come to complain here. अच्छा ये बोलिए कि क्या हुआ था, কিতনা জমিন থা?
মানে আমার 3 বিঘে জায়গা প্রায়, কিন্তু উনি আছে প্রথম বছরই যা লিস্ট টাকা দিয়েছিল সঙ্গে মিষ্টি
কে
শিবু আজরা। আচ্ছা, উনি প্রথম বছরই লিস্ট টাকা দিয়েছিল আর মিষ্টি দিয়েছিল সঙ্গে সবাই।
So you know, she was saying that she has 3 bighas of land. First year Sharif-Bhutto-Zardari gave her money. After then she is a widow. She was not given money, and that is the money through which her entire family used to run. So she is saying that now when everything has come to everything has come out, and then now these complaint boxes are there. They can go and complain. She's going right now. She's saying that we were staying in a captive place. We were staying in we were not independent. Now that all these things are happening, she feels that things will change, and they will lead their life properly, and they'll get the money, and that's why she is also going to give the complaint, and she believes that she will, and now the government has acted and she'll get back the money. This is the real stories of Sandeshkhali, where the woman, they stood up, and because they stood up, all these stories have come, and now they are getting the benefit.
Okay, let's go back to our colleague Kamalika to understand more. Kamalika, obviously rightfully, right now the focus is on these victims and the allegations that they're making. But let's just return for a second also, Kamalika, to the investigation that started this all. What are your sources telling you about the possible location of Sheikh Shah Jahan? What is the TMC saying about their leader who's been missing for weeks now?
TMC is not saying anything about where Shah Jahan is. Definitely, it's not a very Shah Jahan's question is not a very interesting question for them. So they, in that, as far as Shah Jahan is concerned, they are saying the law of the land will take its course. I mean, the law will take its course. That's what they are saying. But on the other hand, we have spoken to Sheikh Shah Jahan's brother, Sheikh Alamgir, who told us that he thinks that his brother is somewhere here, and the fact that he is applying for anticipatory bail in court, he hopes that he will be coming here soon. So that's what his brother's reaction is, and obviously TMC is not commenting anything on Shah Jahan, and definitely they are busy now trying to counter all the BJP claims, and also today's this Manipur and Sandeshkhali comparison. All these things they are trying to project. So right now TMC not in a mood to say anything on Shah Jahan. Only they are saying that law will take its course. The party's stand is that whoever is guilty in whichever case, that person party will deal strictly, and they're trying to project that it is only Trinamool Congress who does Raj Dharm, as Uttam Sardar and Sharif-Bhutto-Zardari both were arrested. But Uttam Sardar has been suspended too. There is no suspension still now for Sharif-Bhutto-Zardari. So the TMC is now almost trying to counter this Sandeshkhali. Where is Shah Jahan, or what is the probable location? They are not saying anything. On the other hand, we were talking to local people of Sandeshkhali today itself. That reminds me that they were telling me that they know that Shah Jahan is somewhere in Sandeshkhali. Now, what is their source, I don't know, but this common feeling is there in Sandeshkhali that Bhai, as Shah Jahan is known, is somewhere near Sandeshkhali. But where is he? Why police is not getting him? That's a big question. But on Saturday, with the press conference which the DG did, Rajiv Kumar, he said that ED now is trying to find out Shah Jahan. The West Bengal police was doing the investigation, but that has been tried to stay by ED in the court. Now to that also the BJP has reacted, stating that there are other cases in which Shah Jahan can be traced. So war of words, politics, all these things is going on, but Shah Jahan till now is obviously has become a missing Shah Jahan, as we don't see him anywhere.
Kamalika, thank you. Just stay with us, but thank you for bringing us those ground reports and telling us what's happening when it comes to the leader, the kingpin of all of these developments. Right now, what we're going to walk you through is what different agencies have had to say. As we told you a little while earlier, multiple different investigations are being carried out on the ground. We're going to take you through, over the last few days, just what 3 of those organizations have had to say. So number one, as you can see over here, this is the National Commission for Scheduled Castes. They've been on the ground. They interviewed, as you can see already, they interviewed multiple locals. They said that their visit revealed acts of torture and of rape. Now, the second allegation, rape, that has been the one that has been more difficult to pin down, with one written complaint on record of rape. But the fear that more might be there, that victims might be afraid of coming forward. Now, the National Commission for Scheduled Castes also have said that there is a need, and this is something we'll talk about in just a second, but they've said that there is a need to invoke President's rule in West Bengal. Now we're taking a look at what the West Bengal Children's Protection, this is a commission that protects children's rights across the state. They visited there to probe a particular case, a case of child abuse, in which a child's mother said that miscreants snatched her daughter. I just want to point out to you that it's versions of this, different reports where mothers are saying not only that their daughters were snatched, but that they were standing in meetings, they wanted to attend to their children, they weren't allowed to leave those meetings. These are different complaints that our reporters keep bringing us. NCW chief, as you can see, National Commission for Women. Here it's important to point out to you, the National Commission for Women actually sent a 2-member committee last week itself, and it's then that they said that there's a systematic sense of abuse that is taking place. They in fact said that police officials were also responsible. Now today the NCW chief, Rekha Sharma, after already sending 2 members of a committee, she's reached on the ground. As we told you earlier, today she has met with a number of locals. She's going to be meeting the Bengal DGP and the governor. All of this is going to be taking place in the next few days. We've walked you through 3 different commissions, what they've done on the ground. Right now we're going to walk you through an interview. This is what the BJP Sukanta Majumdar had to say. Take a look.
टीएमसी और आपकी तरफ से एक दूसरे के ऊपर आरोप लगाए जा रहे हैं। टीएमसी के 3 मंत्री वहां पर हैं। आप लोग कह रहे हैं कि ममता बनर्जी वहां नहीं जा रही हैं। उनकी तरफ से कहा जा रहा है कि 3 मंत्री उनके वहां पर हैं। और आपके ऊपर आज जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जो हियरिंग हुई, उसमें कांग्रेस की तरफ से ये पक्ष रखा गया कि जो वीडियो सामने आया है सुकंता मजूमदार का, उसमें ये दिख रहा है कि उनको उनके पार्टी की जो महिलाएं, उन्होंने ही पुश किया था, उस वजह से वो गिरे हैं।
देखिए, 2 अलग चीजें हैं। नंबर 1, टीएमसी के 3 मंत्री बैठे हैं, महिलाओं के समाधान हुआ है क्या? नंबर 1 इशू ये है। महिलाओं की जो प्रॉब्लम है वो सॉल्व कर चुके हैं। मंत्री जाके बोल रहे हैं इस आने वाले उस तारीख से खेला चेंज हो जाएगा। अगर महिलाओं की इज्जत को आप खेला समझते हैं तो इनसे ज़्यादा आप कुछ एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते। आप पहले बोल रहे थे कि कुछ हुआ ही नहीं, आप डिनायल मोड में थे। अभी आप ही ने 164 कराया एक महिला का, और शिबू हाजरा को अरेस्ट कर लिया। शेख शाहजहां कहाँ हैं? महिलाएं सबसे ज़्यादा उनको एक्यूज की ना कि ये बंदा रेप किया, ये बंदा ने अत्याचार किया। तो एक विषय हो गया। दूसरी जो विषय है, मुझे जो धक्का मुक्का हुआ, पुलिस के साथ झड़प हुआ, पॉलिटिकल प्रोग्राम है, वो स्वाभाविक है, उसमें हम नहीं जा रहे हैं। आफ्टर दैट पुलिस ने क्या किया, वो उसमें प्रिविलेज का बात है। मैं जब फेंट हो गया, उसके बाद पुलिस ने मुझे अपने गाड़ी में, मेरा खुद का गाड़ी है, उसको मुझे हॉस्पिटल ले जाने के लिए नहीं दिया। पुलिस कर सकती है क्या? पुलिस ने अपने गाड़ी में मुझे उठाया, इसमें 20 मिनट टाइम वेस्ट किया। ये जो 20 मिनट गया, हु विल बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट?
देखिए, परमिशन 12 तारीख भी दिया था, ये लोग फिर 140 पर लगाया, सीधा चैलेंज करके। आज स्पेसिफिक ऑर्डर मुझे मिला, मैं कल सुबह 9 बजे कलकत्ता से निकलकर 11 बजे के अंदर पहुंच जाऊंगा, और जो विक्टिम फैमिली है उसका साथ मुलाकात करना, खास करके बीजेपी कार्यकर्ता अरेस्ट हुआ है, उसका फैमिली मेंबर का साथ मुलाकात करना मेरा फर्ज बनता है। वो एरिया में बहुत सारा भाजपा कार्यकर्ता है, और बंगाल का मेन ऑपोजिशन के नाते हम लोग का फर्ज बनता है बेसहारा जो जनता है, खास करके हमारी जो मातृशक्ति है, देवी शक्ति है, लेडीज लोग है, उनका साथ देना हम लोग का ये ड्यूटी है।
Okay, let's go back to our colleague Kamalika. Over the last few minutes, we've spoken to her about the victims. We've also spoken to her about the location of the TMC kingpin, Shah Jahan Sheikh, or rather, the lack of knowledge on where he might be. Let's go over to Kamalika now to understand more. Kamalika, one of the things you've told us is that over the last few days, the TMC has shifted from earlier saying that this was a minor issue being blown out of proportion to now a seeming mode of damage control. Kamalika, on the ground, what does that damage control actually look like?
The damage control is made both from the party and from the administration. From the party, they have planned for a 3rd March big rally out there, for which the ministers, 3 big ministers, yesterday they have come to a different place called Najat, where they actually listed that who are the people who have not got money for land and whose land has forcibly taken. So yesterday, that means on Sunday, some amount of money was given from TMC to those people who were supposed to get money from Shiva Prasad Hajra. Not only that, Partho Bhaumik, one of the ministers, he stated that the Trinamool Congress themselves will actually make a fund, collect money from their own members if somebody has not got money from Shiva Prasad Hajra. Now that is a very important point in this entire damage control, where they themselves are giving back money to the people out there. Administration way, as the DG has said, that there's going to be a land camp. There is a BDO. Today we saw the BDO himself miking going on in Sandeshkhali, asking people that if somebody has any problem, they can come. So we also got in people who were actually gave their complaints in writing. So all these things are happening. As far as the party is concerned, party is definitely into damage control. At the same time, the politics, the war of words, this has been done in the behest of BJP. All these things, comments are still there. It's not, they have not backtracked from that point. But at the same time, what Trinamool Congress is doing, they're trying that so that, the political grip over that area does not go out. And that's what, for which they have planned a big rally on 3rd March in Sandeshkhali. Not only that, the administration is also, like the police, the land officers and everybody now is at their toes to find out all the complaints. So that is one change with Sandeshkhali. Now we see that NCW chief going in, she has given some complaint. Now we find that police is going to house to get in complaints. Not only that, the departments are going house to house to find that whose land has been grabbed. So this is definitely a damage control from both the side, as far as party and the administration.
Kamalika, thank you for bringing us those details. We're now going to take our audiences to different reactions that continue to come in on this story. Take a look.
महिला कमीशन की तरफ से रेखा शर्मा जी से कि आप थोड़ा ध्यान रखें कि बंगाल में उत्तर दिनाजपुर में बीएसएफ की गाफिलती के वजह से और गैर जिम्मेदारी के वजह से 4 बच्चे मारे गए। तो उन 4 बच्चे के जो माँ हैं, उन माँओं को भी याद रखिएगा, उनके आंसू को भी आपको पोंछना है। अर्थात आपको चोपड़ा उत्तर दिनाजपुर जाना चाहिए। जिस जगह आप आए हैं, कलकत्ता पश्चिम बंगाल, जो राजनीतिक पार्टी बीजेपी है, बीजेपी ने मां शारदा को भी नहीं छोड़ा। मां शारदा हमारे लिए देवी हैं।
बिल्कुल रखा जाएगा। अब उनको विश्वास करना पड़ेगा। एक बार तो विश्वास करके आगे आए और हम लोग उनके साथ है। राष्ट्रीय महिला आयोग है किस लिए? महिलाओं के साथ है और महिलाओं को आगे आना होगा, बात करनी होगी। अब मैं इसी उससे आई हूँ कि आप डरे नहीं और मुझसे आके बात करें। मैं पूरा दिन यही हूँ, हर घर में जाऊंगी, चाहूंगी कि वो हमसे बात करें, टीम से बात करें और हम उन सारी कंप्लेंट्स पे जो भी आगे आएगा उन पे काम करेंगे। अरेस्ट नहीं हो रहा इसीलिए महिलाएं डरी हुई हैं। अरेस्ट हो जाएगा तो मुझे लगता है कि अरेस्ट के बाद महिलाएं और आएंगी आगे। कहीं ना कहीं हमें इस पे जोर देना होगा कि ये जो शेख है इसको अरेस्ट किया जाएगा।
Okay, we're going to keep an eye on this story through the day. This is our top story right here on the channel. Right now, we're heading into a quick break. This is The Nation at 5. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
और मैं जाके अननेसेसरी प्रेशर नहीं देना चाहता अगर उसको चांस मिलता है, क्योंकि देखिए उम्मीद तो थी कि वो खेलेगा, लेकिन ये नहीं पता टॉस होने तक कि कौन खेलेगा कौन नहीं खेलेगा, क्योंकि पिच देख के विकेट देख के जो 12वां नंबर है वो 11 हो जाता है, 11वां नंबर 12 भी हो सकता है ना। तो मैं वो भी सोच रहा था, और बोला अगर मिल भी गया तो मैं अननेसेसरी प्रेशर क्यों दूँ उसे। तो थोड़ी देर के बाद फिर सूर्या ने मैसेज किया कि नहीं सर ठीक है, आपके इमोशंस तो अपनी जगह पे, लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आपको जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि लाइफ में वन ऑफ द बेस्ट मोमेंट रहेगा आपके, ऐसा टाइम कभी नहीं आएगा। उसके बाद वो बहुत खेलेगा आगे, लेकिन ये मोमेंट नहीं मिलेगा आपको, मुझे लगता है जाना चाहिए। मैंने भी अपने वहाँ घर वालों को लेके गया था, तो मैंने फिर सोचा था मेरी वाइफ को भी लेके जाऊँगा, लेकिन टिकट मिला नहीं मुझे। एक ही टिकट, राजकोट की फ़्लाइट तो आपको पता ही है, और दूसरे दिन मैच था, आज ही निकलना था, ऐसा था, तो एक टिकट अवेलेबल था तो मैं चला गया।
नौशाद जी, हमें वापस मैं आपको उस मोमेंट में, उस लम्हे में लेना चाहती हूँ जब अनिल कुंबले सरफराज को वो कैप दे रहे थे। कैप पर नंबर लिखा हुआ था 311, और उन्होंने कहा कि आपसे पहले सरफू आपसे पहले सिर्फ 310 लोगों को इस पोजीशन में खेलने का मौका मिला है। और सरफराज, उन्होंने अपना हाथ बढ़ाया सरफराज से हैंडशेक करने के लिए, और सरफराज बिलीव नहीं कर पाए, वो कैप को ही देखता रह गया उतनी देर। फिर वो आपके पास भाग कर गया, आपने कैप लिया, आपने कैप को किस करा और आप फूट फूट के रोए। क्या मीनिंग है इंडिया के लिए खेलने का इतनी लॉन्ग स्ट्रगल के बाद? आपने बताया 6 साल से आपने ये सपना देखा जब सरफराज सिर्फ 6 साल का था।
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि एक शिद्दत के साथ उसमें लगे हुए थे हम लोग, और अपना घर, मेरा घर के बाहर एक पीछे क्रिकेट की, तो वो कौन सा एक शेर याद आ रहा है कि किसने सोचा था अपने घर ऐसे भी मंजर होंगे, घर अपना मैदान बनाकर घर से हम बेघर होंगे, और ये मिट्टी ज़िद्दी बहुत है सर पर कर्ज नहीं रखती, जो इन पर मेहनत करते हैं ताज उन्हीं के सर होंगे।
क्या बात,
आज नहीं तो कल होंगे, आज नहीं तो कल होंगे। तो वही एक सोच रहा था कि मेहनत तो किए हैं, तो उसमें बीच में एक शेर और याद आया था, मैंने पढ़ा भी था कि जो मेरा ख्वाब है आंखों का हिस्सा क्यों नहीं होता, दिए हम भी जलाते हैं उजाला क्यों नहीं होता। तो ये इस तरीके की सोच भी आई थी कभी कि क्यों नहीं हो रहा है सवेरा, क्यों नहीं हमारे को चांस मिल रहा है। लेकिन जैसे मैंने वो कहा ना कि सूरज अपने समय पे निकलेगा, और वो निकला 15 तारीख की सुबह में निकला 8:40 पे, जब वो सरफराज को कैप मिली। देश के लिए खेलना, 92 ईयर्स के टेस्ट क्रिकेट के अंदर टोटल 310 लोग खेले हैं, और 140 करोड़ की पॉपुलेशन है हमारी इंडिया की। वो कुछ कैप तो मुझे ही मिली है, समझ लो, क्योंकि मैं अपना ही सपना उससे जी रहा था।
अपना सपना तो आप जी रहे थे, और सूरज आपने सही कहा निकला, और क्या चमका, और आगे भी ऐसे ही चमकते रहे उसके सितारे, उसका सारा कैलिबर, हम तो यही चाहेंगे। पर अब मैच की तरफ ज़रा जाते हैं। उस दिन सरफराज बहुत ही बढ़िया पारी खेल रहा था, सबको लगा कि आज तो डेब्यू में 100 रन बनेंगे जिस तरह से खेल रहा है, लेकिन कैसे एकदम रन आउट हो गया। हम सब, वो हमने स्टेडियम में सुना, एकदम साइलेंस हो गया था। हम सब जो घर पे बैठ के देख रहे थे, हम सबके मुंह खुले के खुले रह गए कि हुआ क्या, इतनी अच्छी पारी एकदम से कैसे ख़त्म हो गई। आपने उसके बाद क्या बात करी सरफराज से? हमने बाद में जो मैच के बाद में जो पिक्चर्स देखे, उसमें भी उसको भी बिलीव नहीं हो रहा था, वो बस बैठा हुआ था, उसकी शक्ल दिखा रहे थे। रोहित शर्मा ने गुस्से में अपनी कैप फेंकी, इतने इमोशंस चल रहे थे। आपके मन में क्या था, आपने क्या बोला बाद में उसके?
नहीं, देखिए बैटिंग जिस हिसाब से कर रहा था उम्मीद तो थी, लेकिन रन आउट होना, रन बनना या कभी कैच छूट जाना, ये पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ द गेम है। तो इसमें ये हम नहीं कह सकते कि किसी ने जानबूझ के किया, या गलती तो होती है ना, मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हो सकती है। वो हो सकता है कि जेड्डू ने ये सोचा होगा कि ये रन है, और उसके बाद जैसे खेलने के बाद रियलाइज़ होगा कि शायद वो रन नहीं पहुंच पाऊँ मैं, तब तक लेके लेट हो गए थे ना, क्योंकि फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड में ये काम होता है, आउट होना नहीं होना है ना, और डायरेक्ट हिट भी लग गई। तो इसमें उनकी कोई गलती नहीं है। हर कोई चाहता है कि मतलब अपने पार्टनर को लेके चले, और टीम के बारे में ही सोचते हैं सब लोग।
We begin today with a story that has left the entire nation very, very energized. It has left everybody very, very inspired and full of hope as well. Now, over the weekend, we couldn't obviously stop talking about everything that's happening, the Rajkot test match, but this has been the season of debutants. They came, they shone, and they were really like shining all the way. And how? One of them, the story of Sarfaraz Khan, has really touched everybody. Now, Sarfaraz, as we know, had got on to a really amazing start, got run out last minute because of a miscommunication. But it's how he was presented, the cap before that, the story of his father, where he comes from, that really touched all our hearts. So we thought, let's try and speak with his father straight away. So joining us now is Naushad Khan, Sarfaraz's father, who is the reason, the pillar of support, and as he said, he is doing this for his Abbu. So he is with us on the program today. Namaskar, Naushad ji, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. पहले तो मुझे ये बताइए कि इंडिया को जब कैप दिया गया सरफराज को, उसने कैप लिया, उसके हाथ कपकपा रहे थे उस टेस्ट मैच के पहले, वो भाग के फिर गया आपके पास, आपने वो कैप लिया, फूट फूट के रोए, वो मोमेंट सबने देखा और हम सबको इतना टच करा. उस समय आपने एक लाइन बोली थी, वो कि सूरज अपना समय लेता है निकलने में. वो लाइन एक बार पहले तो दोहराएंगे हमारे लिए.
नहीं, कुछ लोग जो मेहनत करते हैं और उसके साथ साथ में बहुत जल्दी एक्सपेक्टेशन रखते हैं, उनके लिए शेयर था. क्योंकि वो ऐसा था कि आकाश चोपड़ा जी ने कहा था कि आप लेट हो गए हैं, शायद आपको चांस लेट मिला है. तो फिर ये मैंने कहा था, रात को वक्त चाहिए गुजरने के लिए, सूरज मेरी मर्ज़ी से नहीं निकलने वाला. तो जो बोलते हैं ना कि सवेरा होता है लेकिन वो अपने समय पे होता है, हमारे सोचने से नहीं होगा. हमारा काम है कि रात को बर्दाश्त करना.
रात को बर्दाश्त करना, क्या कितनी सुंदर बात बोली आपने. आपने ऑल्सो बहुत सुंदर जैकेट पहनी हुई थी. मैंने उस दिन देखा कि जब फाइनली सरफराज जब जा रहे थे अंदर अपना कैप लेके, अनिल कुंबले ने दिया, हम उसकी डिटेल्स पर आएंगे थोड़ी देर में. आपने एक जैकेट पहना था, उसके पीछे लिखा हुआ था क्रिकेट इज़ जेंटलमैन्स गेम. जेंटलमैन के ऊपर लाइन लगा हुआ था और फिर लिखा था इट इज़ एवरीवन्स गेम. वो जैकेट के बारे में हमें बताएंगे, क्या कहानी है उसकी?
जी जी, नहीं मैंने नहीं, ये एक्चुअली सरफराज का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है प्यूमा से. तो प्यूमा के शोरूम से थोड़ी बहुत शॉपिंग हो जाती है. तो मैं जा रहा था एशिया कप देखने के लिए, मुशीर की मैच थी अंडर 19 की, तो दुबई. तो उसने कहा कि अब्बू मेरी बात हुई है प्यूमा वालों से, आप जाके थोड़ा शॉपिंग कर लीजिए, और वहाँ दुबई में ठंडा भी होगा, ठंडी होगी थोड़ी. तो मुझे ये जैकेट पसंद आई क्योंकि उसमें क्रिकेट की एक लाइन लिखी थी, उसमें लिखा था क्रिकेट इज़ एवरीवन गेम, और बीच में जेंटलमैन की लाइन थी, तो उन्होंने वो कट कर दिया. तो वही ये जैकेट थी. तो उससे एक मोटिवेशन भी मिलता है कि भाई हर एक कोई खेल सकता है. और आप तो घर घर IPL होने की वजह से घर घर किचन तक क्रिकेट तो पहुँच ही गया है. औरतें सब पहले ही खाना बना लेती है, 8 बजे मैच है, 7 बजे मैच है, तो मेरे ख्याल से घर घर पहुँच गया है. तो ये अभी किसी एक का नहीं रह गया गेम, जो मेहनत करेंगे उसी का उसका हो जाएगा. ये
किचन तक पहुंच गया, ये आपने अच्छी एक्चुअली बात बोली, ये सही है. पर मैंने सुना कि आप पहले मैच देखने जा ही नहीं रहे थे, फिर बड़ी आपको किसी ने मनाया, उसकी क्या कहानी है?
नहीं, मेरी तबीयत थोड़ा ठीक नहीं है, क्या पता, क्या अभी भी मैं इतना अच्छी नहीं है, कफ जमा हुआ छाती में.
Welcome back. You're watching The Nation at 5 right here on CNN News 18. We've brought you over the last few minutes multiple stories coming in from the country. Right now we're bringing you a story coming in from across the border. Let's go very quickly to Pakistan that, remember, saw elections on February 8th. But despite more than 10 days passing, who's going to form the new government? That remains the key question. You'll remember when votes were counted, the PTI, or at least independents associated with the PTI, were very much in the lead. It was then the PMLN and the PPP that came third. Right now we're learning that the two parties, PMLN and the PPP, not the PTI that came number one, PMLN and PPP, they are still failing to reach a complete agreement. Outside support from the PPP towards the PMLN is being suggested. What this could mean for Pakistan, the implications for India. To take a much deeper dive into this story, my colleague Abhishek, let's go over to him to understand more. Abhishek, first can you tell our audiences where it is that the PMLN and the PPP are failing to see eye to eye?
Well, they are kind of in coalition, but that is not the coalition of deep trust, because now PMLN has proposed that they will be having the Prime Minister's post, but PPP, that is party which the Sharif-Bhutto-Zardari and Zardari himself have been cheering, they will be supporting the upcoming government from outside. So they will not be taking any ministerial position, so there will not be any accountability on their part in terms of policy implementation. So that is a long shot game that PPP is apparently playing. Meanwhile, PPP has, negotiated with Zardari becoming the president of Pakistan. So that is something that PPP has got through the negotiations that has happened with MLN and PPP. Nawaz Sharif's brother, Shehbaz Sharif, he is the front racer in the post of Prime Minister, and we'll still have to wait whether Maryam Nawaz Sharif will be able to form the first women-led government in the Punjab province. So that will also happen if the PPP and PMLN coalition, concludes in a positive manner in Punjab. So the negotiations are still on. The picture is still a little opaque in Pakistan.
Okay, Abhishek, if I could actually ask you to remain with us. We have Sushant Sareen with us right now, Senior Fellow of the ORF, Chief Strategic Expert. Let's go over to him to understand more. Sir, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on CNN News 18. Sir, first question for you. Can you tell our audiences, because all of these developments, the PMLN, the PPP, seemingly reaching some kind of pact. So all of this is coming after allegations of rigged elections, massive protests taking place across the country in favor of the PTI. How do you see the current agreement between the PPP and the PMLN? Do you think this could bode a peaceful few years for Pakistan? How do you see this, sir?
I think it's highly unlikely that if at all they strike an agreement, and I think they are being forced into a marriage by the army because of the kind of result which has been shown up. Incidentally, that result is still not, we don't know what the result is, because more than 10 days after the election is over and the counting is supposedly over, not all the successful candidates have been notified. And many candidates who have been notified, their notification has been challenged in courts, and the courts have set aside the notification. So we don't even know what the composition of the parliament is going to be. So there is that big crisis which is already unfolding. And in that, you have these political parties which are not just jostling for the loaves and fishes of office in the current situation, but are also trying to find out or trying to, find a way that they can save their politics for the next round, which is because the kind of decisions that anybody who forms the government in Islamabad will have to take will be politically disastrous for them. Anybody who's actually going to be taking those decisions will not have a political future left, which is why you see the People's Party trying to play too clever by half and saying that, okay, fine, give us the presidency, give us some of the other constitutional positions, and then we'll either support you from the outside or we'll send in some members of our party as part of the government, because they want the PMLN to be the fall guys. The PMLN has suddenly understood, the penny has dropped into their heads that if they were to form the government, this would be the last time they would be in government, after which the party would be wiped out. It's very jaded anyway. You have the PTI, which is sitting on the sidelines, which wants to burn the house down, because they think that until they burn the house down, they will not get a chance. You have the army, which cannot run the country itself and does not want anybody else to run it. So you have a right royal mess. This is what a country looks like when it is heading into a kind of an anarchic, chaotic situation, which is what is there in Pakistan. And all of this would have been okay if the situation in the country was normal. But the situation is not normal because it's not just a political mess. It's a huge economic crisis in which the country finds itself. And there is a big security crisis which is confronting the country. There's a crisis of legitimacy of the government. In fact, now it's a crisis of the legitimacy of the state itself. So it's like a right royal mess. I don't know what other parliamentary term there is to describe it on your channel.
Mr. Sareen, thank you for providing us with that context. Let's go over right now to Major General A.K. Sivaj, a defence expert who's also with us. Sir, thank you for joining us. Sir, if I could ask you, we were just speaking to Senior Fellow of the ORF, Sushant Sareen, and one of the things he pointed out, and this is something that's been said in a number of editorials over the last few days, is that the alliance between the PMLN and the PPP, the way in which they're being forced almost together to form a government, this is being done very much at the behest of the Pakistan army, but it seems very much like the two parties are being forced into this position together. Sir, let me ask you first, do you agree with that analysis? Question one. And question two, sir, how do you see, sir, the deteriorating relationship between General Asim Munir on one side, the former Prime Minister Imran Khan on the other?
No doubt about it. See, the point, what is happening is Pakistan, the results have come, but there is a fractured mandate. No party has got a clear-cut majority. The elections have not been fair and free. There have been rigging which has taken place, which has been also accepted by Commissioner Rawalpindi. Liaquat Ali, he has publicly announced that as to how much rigging they have done in 15 seats itself. So the question comes is that whichever government will form has to be a coalition government first. There is a chances of PMLN and PPP joining together. But the point is the PPP is now feeling it. If they join with PMLN, the government is going to be very unstable and not likely to last long. So they don't want to become a part of this coalition. They want to now support them from the outside. At the same time, they also want to have the bite by saying that Asif Zardari should be a candidate for president. That should be supported by PMLN. But now what is happening is no party is interested in forming government because they have realized that neither they have got mandate and majority of the seats have been, they got it by rigging, especially PMLN. So the question is coming is how will the government, you see everything is now being done by the army, which is a deep state, which is establishment. They are now forcing PMLN and PPP to join together and form a government, but they are still reluctant not to form. There is another school of thought. They say that some sort of establishment authorities have also met the PTI chairman Imran Khan, who is now in the jail. They are trying to find out in case they can do something, because whatever you may say, the mandate is for the PTI, though they are independent candidates. They have not able to contest election because the bat symbol was snatched by the election commission and Imran Khan has been put behind the bar. But what surprise has been there this time as far as the deep state is concerned, they never thought that the PTI independent candidate will get so much of seats, 93 seats. So that has now shaken up the whole system. So as on today, the problem is there is a total political instability, economic crisis, and terrorism is increasing, and they are not able to find out a solution how they will form a coalition government, whether it will be a PMLN and PPP or something else, or the election will be done again, because there are certain petitions which have been filed in Supreme Court challenging the legality of this election, which was full of rigging. So everything looks to be in a disorder. And remember that Pakistan has to take another loan from IMF in another month or so. That will be pending because there is, as on today, it is basically a caretaker government. To me, it looks like that the Pakistan is in for the trouble. As on today, it looks like that Pakistan army has made a biggest blunder of interfering and intervening in the election, which have now given
General Sivaj, thank you for bringing us context on this story. I'd also like to thank Sushant Sareen, who joined us a little earlier. These are, of course, developments taking place across the border. Right now, we're headed into a quick break. On the other side, more of the country's stories. This is The Nation at 5.
Employment opportunities for the youth. News is meaningless till you unlock its core. At the core is the crux. Watch Crux of the Matter to stay informed with me, Rahul Shivshankar.
Brought to you by. तो आए थे जो हमारे फैमिली डॉक्टर इंजेक्शन और दवा दे के गए. सर्दी हो गई थोड़ी सी तो मैं एक्चुअली सूर्या का मैसेज आया था कि सूर्या कुमार यादव ने कहा कि वो सरफराज का दोस्त है, मुशीर को भी बड़ा प्यार करता है, मुझे भी बहुत रिस्पेक्ट देता है। तो बोला सर आप मैच देखने जा रहे हो क्या? तो मैंने बोला नहीं सूर्या मेरी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है और मैं जाके अननेसेसरी प्रेशर नहीं देना चाहता अगर उसको चांस मिलता है। क्योंकि देखिए उम्मीद तो थी कि वो खेलेगा, लेकिन ये नहीं पता टॉस होने तक कि कौन खेलेगा कौन नहीं खेलेगा, क्योंकि पिच देख के विकेट देख के जो 12वां नंबर है वो 11 हो जाता है, 11वां नंबर 12 भी हो सकता है ना। तो मैं वो भी सोच रहा था और बोला अगर मिल भी गया तो मैं अननेसेसरी प्रेशर क्यों दूँ उसे। तो थोड़ी देर के बाद फिर सूर्या ने मैसेज किया कि नहीं सर ठीक है आपके इमोशंस तो अपनी जगह पे, लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आपको जाना चाहिए क्योंकि लाइफ में वन ऑफ द बेस्ट मोमेंट रहेगा आपके, ऐसा टाइम कभी नहीं आएगा। उसके बाद वो बहुत खेलेगा आगे, लेकिन ये मोमेंट नहीं मिलेगा आपको, मुझे लगता है जाना चाहिए। मैंने भी अपने घर वालों को लेके गया था, तो मैंने फिर सोचा था मेरी वाइफ को भी लेके जाऊंगा, लेकिन टिकट मिला नहीं मुझे। एक ही टिकट, राजकोट की फ़्लाइट तो आपको पता ही है, और दूसरे दिन मैच था, आज ही निकलना था, ऐसा था। तो एक टिकट अवेलेबल था तो मैं चला गया।
नौशाद जी हमें वापस मैं आपको उस मोमेंट में, उस लम्हे में लेना चाहती हूँ जब अनिल कुंबले सरफराज को वो कैप दे रहे थे। कैप पर नंबर लिखा हुआ था 311 और उन्होंने कहा कि आपसे पहले सरफू आपसे पहले सिर्फ 310 लोगों को इस पोजीशन में खेलने का मौका मिला है। और सरफराज, उन्होंने अपना हाथ बढ़ाया सरफराज से हैंडशेक करने के लिए और सरफराज बिलीव नहीं कर पाए, वो कैप को ही देखता रह गया उतनी देर। फिर वो आपके पास भाग कर गया, आपने कैप लिया, आपने कैप को किस करा और आप फूट फूट के रोए। क्या मीनिंग है इंडिया के लिए खेलने का इतनी लॉन्ग स्ट्रगल के बाद? आपने बताया वो 6 साल से आपने ये सपना देखा जब सरफराज सिर्फ 6 साल का था।
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ कि एक शिद्दत के साथ उसमें लगे हुए थे हम लोग, और अपना घर, मेरा घर के बाहर एक पिच है क्रिकेट की, तो वो कौन सा एक शेर याद आ रहा है कि किसने सोचा था अपने घर ऐसे भी मंजर होंगे, घर अपना मैदान बनाकर घर से हम बेघर होंगे, और ये मिट्टी ज़िद्दी बहुत है सर पर कर्ज नहीं रखती, जो इन पर मेहनत करते हैं ताज उन्हीं के सर होंगे।
क्या बात,
आज नहीं तो कल होंगे, आज नहीं तो कल होंगे। तो वही एक सोच रहा था कि मेहनत तो किए हैं। तो उसमें बीच में एक शेर और याद आया था, मैंने पढ़ा भी था कि जो मेरा ख्वाब है आंखों का हिस्सा क्यों नहीं होता, दिए हम भी जलाते हैं उजाला क्यों नहीं होता। तो ये इस तरीके की सोच भी आई थी कभी कि क्यों नहीं हो रहा है सवेरा, क्यों नहीं हमारे को चांस मिल रहा है। लेकिन जैसे मैंने वो कहा ना कि सूरज अपने समय पे निकलेगा, और वो निकला 15 तारीख की सुबह में निकला 8:40 पे, जब वो सरफराज को कैप मिली। देश के लिए खेलना, 92 इयर्स के टेस्ट क्रिकेट के अंदर टोटल 310 लोग खेले हैं और 140 करोड़ की पॉपुलेशन है हमारी इंडिया की। वो कुछ कैप तो मुझे ही मिली है, समझ लो, क्योंकि मैं अपना ही सपना उससे जी रहा था।
अपना सपना तो आप जी रहे थे, और सूरज आपने सही कहा निकला और क्या चमका, और आगे भी ऐसे ही चमकते रहे उसके सितारे, उसका सारा कैलिबर, हम तो यही चाहेंगे। पर अब मैच की तरफ ज़रा जाते हैं। उस दिन सरफराज बहुत ही बढ़िया पारी खेल रहा था, सबको लगा कि आज तो डेब्यू में 100 रन बनेंगे जिस तरह से खेल रहा है, लेकिन कैसे एकदम रन आउट हो गया। हम सब, वो हमने स्टेडियम में सुना, एकदम साइलेंस हो गया था। हम सब जो घर पे बैठ के देख रहे थे, हम सबके मुंह खुले के खुले रह गए कि ये हुआ क्या, इतनी अच्छी पारी एकदम से कैसे ख़त्म हो गई। आपने उसके बाद क्या बात करी सरफराज से? हमने बाद में जो मैच के बाद में जो पिक्चर्स देखे, उसमें भी उसको भी बिलीव नहीं हो रहा था, वो बस बैठा हुआ था, उसकी शक्ल दिखा रहे थे। रोहित शर्मा ने गुस्से में अपनी कैप फेंकी, इतने इमोशंस चल रहे थे। आपके मन में क्या था, आपने क्या बोला बाद में उसके?
नहीं, देखिए बैटिंग जिस हिसाब से कर रहा था उम्मीद तो थी, लेकिन रन आउट होना, रन बनना या कभी कैच छूट जाना, ये पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ द गेम है। तो इसमें ये हम नहीं कह सकते कि किसी ने जानबूझ के किया, या गलती तो होती है ना, मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग हो सकती है। वो हो सकता है कि जेड्डू ने ये सोचा होगा कि ये रन है, और उसके बाद जैसे खेलने के बाद रियलाइज़ होगा कि शायद वो रन नहीं पहुंच पाऊँ मैं, तब तक के लेट हो गए थे ना, क्योंकि फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड में ये काम होता है, आउट होना नहीं होना है ना, और डायरेक्ट हिट भी लग गई। तो इसमें उनकी कोई गलती नहीं है। हर कोई चाहता है कि मतलब अपने पार्टनर को लेके चले, और टीम के बारे में ही सोचते हैं सब लोग।
We begin today with a story that has left the entire nation
very, very energized. It has left everybody very, very inspired and full of hope as well. Now, over the weekend, we couldn't obviously stop talking about everything that's happening, the Rajkot test match, but this has been the season of debutants. They came, they shone, and they were really like shining all the way. And how one of them, the story of Sarfaraz Khan, has really touched everybody. Now, Sarfaraz, as we know, had got on to a really amazing start, got run out last minute because of a miscommunication. But it's how he was presented, the cap before that, the story of his father, where he comes from, that really touched all our hearts. So we thought, let's try and speak with his father straight away. So joining us now is Naushad Khan, Sarfaraz's father, who is the reason, the pillar of support, and as he said, he is doing this for his Abu. So he is with us on the program today. Namaskar, Naushad ji, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. पहले तो मुझे ये बताइए कि इंडिया को आज जब कैप दिया गया सरफराज को, उसने कैप लिया, उसके हाथ कपकपा रहे थे उस टेस्ट मैच के पहले, वो भाग के फिर गया आपके पास, आपने वो कैप लिया, फूट फूट के रोए, वो मोमेंट सबने देखा और हम सबको इतना टच करा. उस समय आपने एक लाइन बोली थी, वो कि सूरज अपना समय लेता है निकलने में. वो लाइन एक बार पहले तो दोहराएंगे हमारे लिए.
नहीं, कुछ लोग जो मेहनत करते हैं और उसके साथ साथ में बहुत जल्दी एक्सपेक्टेशन रखते हैं, उनके लिए शेयर था. क्योंकि वो ऐसा था कि आकाश चोपड़ा जी ने कहा था कि आप लेट हो गए हैं, शायद आपको चांस लेट मिला है. तो फिर ये मैंने कहा था, रात को वक्त चाहिए गुजरने के लिए, सूरज मेरी मर्ज़ी से नहीं निकलने वाला. तो जो बोलते हैं ना कि सवेरा होता है लेकिन वो अपने समय पे होता है, हमारे सोचने से नहीं होगा. हमारा काम है कि रात को बर्दाश्त करना.
रात को बर्दाश्त करना, क्या कितनी सुंदर बात बोली आपने. आपने ऑल्सो बहुत सुंदर जैकेट पहनी हुई थी. मैंने उस दिन देखा कि जब फाइनली सरफराज जब जा रहे थे अंदर अपना कैप लेके, अनिल कुंबले ने दिया, हम उसकी डिटेल्स पर आएंगे थोड़ी देर में. आपने एक जैकेट.
Welcome back. You're watching The Nation at 5 right here on CNN News 18. We're now taking you to a story that saw developments just a few minutes ago. The Supreme Court coming down heavily on a few legislators in a larger story concerning the Punjab mayoral elections that were held, you'll remember, in a very controversial manner on January 30th. So exactly what happened on Jan 30th, let's bring you the picture and then we'll tell you what the Supreme Court has just said. On Jan 30th, you had a BJP legislator who was elected to the position of a mayor. This is despite both the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party having more votes when their votes were tallied. But 8 votes were declared invalid, and that's what's believed to have led to the BJP getting their mayor's position, being able to clinch that. Now, this was highly contested. Today, the Supreme Court has come down quite severely. They've said a number of things. Number one, they've said that the votes will be recounted based on the original votes cast on that day. They've said that tomorrow they will study videos from the actual event on Jan 30th. Then they'll announce what their final decision is. A number of other decisions. Our legal correspondent Ananya Bhatnagar with us. Ananya, the Supreme Court has also said horse trading has taken place. They've come down heavily on a number of legislators. Just tell us very quickly first what the court said, then we'll ask you more questions.
Well, definitely, this was a case that was being anticipated today. And in fact, that particular returning officer who was seen on the camera for making some certain marks on that on those ballot papers was heavily interrogated by, in fact, the Chief Justice of India himself, who while beginning that questioning very, very clearly stated that every answer of that particular returning officer can actually be a result of him being prosecuted. And in fact, in the end, the Chief Justice of India clearly stated that he is somebody who should be prosecuted for his doings. And the Supreme Court has categorically asked for all of these ballot papers that were actually, after the order of the Supreme Court on 5th of February, were actually secured at the Punjab and Haryana High Court. The Registrar General of the Punjab and Haryana High Court will depute a judicial officer who will bring those ballot papers, those 8 ballot papers in question, to, in fact, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will examine that. It will also examine the various videos with regards to that particular incident, and then will take a decision as to whether fresh polls have to take place when it comes to the mayoral election, or can they start from where it had started to become illegal? So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out, but a fierce day at the topmost court of the country.
Okay, Ananya, if we could ask you more follow-up questions here. Tell us, all right, Ananya, we've run out of time. I'm so sorry. We'll have to move on to our next story. Okay, we're shifting our focus now to Uttar Pradesh. Remember, as we speak, the Congress Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra is taking place in Uttar Pradesh. Union Minister Smriti Irani is also in Amethi as we speak, as Rahul Gandhi passes through there with the Nyaya Yatra. Now, the big development that took place earlier in the afternoon today, and this is what we're focusing on because it's key when you take a look at the INDIA and its progression, is that the Samajwadi Party chief, Akhilesh Yadav, has now come out on record to say that he will not be joining into the Nyaya Yatra. In fact, he said that seat-sharing talks need to happen first, only then will he participate. Why is this so big? Remember that Akhilesh Yadav had first responded to an invite from the Congress by responding positively, saying very much that he would be participating. And what this could represent, the fact that the SP leader has said that he will not be participating, the fact that this comes after the TMC and the Aam Aadmi Party, their talks with the Congress stand on shaky grounds. That's the larger context at play here. First, take a look at what Akhilesh Yadav had to say earlier in the day, then we'll connect with reporters for more.
You're here on a day when Rahul Gandhi is also trying perhaps to reclaim his stake in Amethi and Raebareli.
I think it would be very befitting for somebody who managed to lose as the national president of the Congress party, a seat that was conditioned and touted as the dynastic seat of the Congress party. The fact that he wants to just bypass it, hurry through it, speaks volumes. Secondly, I believe that Mr. Gandhi thinks that he's extremely welcomed in Amethi. Today, you yourself were witness to the facts. Roads were empty, that they had to ship in their supporters who could barely reach a number of 500 from Sultanpur and Pratapgarh. Thirdly, they were dependent on Akhilesh Yadav to come and support them in Amethi. So imagine this. This is supposedly once upon a time a Congress bastion. 50 years versus 5 years of a BJP Karyakarta like me. And the fact that Mr. Gandhi today came and was not found welcomed by the local citizens speaks volumes about the anger against him.
And the fact that Akhilesh Yadav has first of all decided not to join the Yatra and second announced tickets for those 11 seats and many of which the Congress wanted.
That is a conversation between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress Party. But I think that one needs to recognize that when I came as a candidate of the BJP in 2014, Mr. Gandhi fought against me. I had just 22 days to fight that election. His following, his support base was cut down to just a lakh vote of differences between me and him. And in the year 2019, when Mr. Gandhi fought again, he did not have the courage to fight alone on a Congress ticket. He needed the support of Samajwadi Party and the BSP. So the so-called India Alliance is something that I had the privilege of defeating in Amethi in the year 2019 itself. What the so-called alliance, which is falling apart at the seams, does next is not either my responsibility or my privilege to possibly reflect on. But I can say this, that someone who cannot keep a so-called alliance together, someone who is not deemed politically proficient enough to be called the leader of the alliance, someone who has come to a so-called bastion of 5 decades and cannot even find 5,000 people to greet him, I think is indicative of the change that not only Amethi but also Raebareli has undergone.
Okay, let's go to our colleague Pallavi Ghosh, who just brought us that interview. Pallavi, can you tell our audiences more about the numbers at play here? Uttar Pradesh obviously has the most Lok Sabha seats at 80, and reports suggesting that the Samajwadi Party is not willing to give the Congress what it wants, which is 20 or more winnable seats, in their words. Can you bring us more context?
Well, today I'm right over here in the last leg of Rahul Gandhi's rally in Amethi. We see that ready for the Congress party. So the problem with the rally over here is they hardly have any party cadre left, party workers there. But they are still trying to work on the development agenda that the government has not been able to work on. But the 2 days that I spent over here in Amethi just shows that they really have a lot of development work which has been done by Smriti Irani. One ray of hope would have been if Akhilesh Yadav had actually come here as he had promised to Amethi and Raebareli, because it is on these 2 seats that the SP is not planning to put up any candidates. So the seat sharing was not really a problem. His skipping and the 11 candidates which are being announced is a huge setback to not just India plan, but Rahul Gandhi's attempt to take lead on Amethi and Raebareli.
All right, Pallavi, we're not entirely being able to hear what you are saying right now, but Pallavi, you're on the ground right now in Amethi. Okay, we've run out of time and we'll try to re-establish our connection. My colleague Pallavi, following the campaign trail, following the Nyaya Yatra trail as we speak in Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. It's very, very exciting in that part of Uttar Pradesh as we speak. Right now, we're going to draw our show to a close. This was The Nation at 5. We brought you stories not just from India, also hopping across the border, Pakistan, for a few minutes. Now we're ending the show. Thank you for staying with us over the last few minutes.
The entire government capacity to procure crops from the farmers is only 25%. Remaining 75% produce in this country is being sold as per market rate. Out in the market decides what the price is.
They all came together to give the BJP a spirited fight, but with months to go, nothing seems to be falling in line for the INDI alliance or the entire India bloc.
A ragtag coalition of people who are not sure about also Chalis Par. Whatever it is our ya par. What are farmers in India asking for? We are not going to be held liable for parali burning. We don't want electricity reforms in the country. We're going to have our own preferences of what we grow, and then we want prices to be according to us as well. Not all of that can go together.
Does the Congress lie about this Modani business just to spread disaffection? Rahul Gandhi gets up in parliament, and what does he say? Modani, Modani, Modani. Egg on their faces.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. A small village merely 75 kilometers from the capital city of Kolkata has been on the boil for the last few days. Allegations of land grab, of abuse, of coercion and worse still, charges of sexual assault against local TMC leaders have brought the town of Sandeshkhali into the spotlight. At the centre of all these allegations is Shahjahan Sheikh, known as the Bhai in the area. Shahjahan Sheikh's journey to become Sandeshkhali's strongman began well before he joined the Trinamool Congress, or even before the TMC came to power. From the CPM to back then to the TMC,